All right, we got a lot of projects coming, so we need to get some of our own stuff done. So we're gonna try to put this back together right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, you'll have to wait because the phone's ringing. Just a minute. All right, welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rossi Oliver Man. And yeah, we got a lot of action happening around here. It rained so much though that what's a guy do? You know, start working on projects and other things. I worked on that 550 steering box, so it's ready. It should be ready to put back in. So hopefully we can get that project knocked out because it's been way too long. But we're gonna work on this so it's not sitting in the middle of the driveway because another guy's bringing a tractor tomorrow. And yeah. So in our last installment, I guess I should show you that. I did this, scrounging up the right size hose clamp, couldn't find it, used two, and then promptly found the one I was looking for. That's how that goes. But that should have compressed that down in there long enough for us to slide it in here into the barrel. That's just a handy thing to do so that you don't destroy your brand new seal, because that would be sad, you know? Then you have to start all over again. And we don't like doing that. All right. I don't think that that really did much for us. Looking at it now. Maybe. It should be kind of tapered too, though. If we just keep working it, you know. Yeah, there we go. Get in there. All right. Now, the good thing is I don't see any little orange pieces, which might mean that we're in good shape. And I hear it sucking air through the line that we have off, so that's good. That means it's building some compression. Or not compression, that's probably not the right word I'm looking for, but it is making a seal in there. So now I should probably really lube this up really good to make sure that we have the same success there, because like I said, we don't want to have to do this twice. This is a bear, and once there'll be a plenty. So yeah, grease. All right, friends, now we gotta try to get that in there. A similar fashion. Come on in there. We need to go all the way in. Not just part of the way in. Do this at your own risk. That's probably enough, but we'll give ourselves a little elbow room here. Uh-oh, I just created for myself a math problem that got the lock ring stuck inside the Alright. This is just kind of an odd angle because I'm kind of tucked under the cab here, and I'm just not quite having a good time, you know? What do I do with my little pocket screwdriver? Sometimes that's easier to work in there. Come on, come on, get in there. Well, get in there. You're kind of right in my way, and I think that's part of my issue, but that's fine. I'll work around you. There. There. Get in there. Almost. Not quite. Too bad. So sad. There. Lock ring, engage. Now, here's where we're going to knudsen ourselves a bit. I really need to pull this out. There. Is that enough? Hopefully that's enough. I didn't take this fitting off up here, so it is building pressure behind there, you know. But I think we're good. Basically, if you're not understanding the why of this, the snap ring keeps the head from coming out when it gets pushed on from the backside, and the lock ring keeps this from getting sucked in when it goes that direction. So that's what's happening and why. I can't believe how well this thing works. That's actually probably tighter than it was when I took it off. I don't know. Really? Cool. Ah! Okay. That'll make it more difficult for the next guy, which will probably be me. So, sure. Now we're going to try to solve this math problem. Yeah, see, I really am I'm gonna have to take that fitting loose, which is no big deal because it's right here. But yeah, okay, it's gonna be a big deal. It's gonna make it a big deal because it's not gonna, the adapter piece that changes to JIC. Let me just let you watch. There's no sense in you missing out on the struggles too. And I'm thinking that maybe the red pliers will help save the day. But that adapter in the bottom is wanting to turn too, and that won't work. Oh. Well, what can we do here? Is that also this size? It is. So, this is what, 7/8? Oh, 7/8. Oh, jeez. Come on. We are struggling, friends. Ooh, struggling. There we go. Okay. I don't suppose that now the red pliers would do it, would they? Now that and I'm trying to think of how to, which one? Oh, yes, they will. Oh, the red pliers are magnificent. You know, people always ask, where do I get them? A viewer sent them to me. But they're made by Knipex in Deutschland. So you know they're good stuff. That, I don't like that. Wait a minute. We want that clean. We don't want trash in there immediately after rebuilding. See, I'm guessing what's going on is this is probably O-ring fitting, because that's how things like to be. SAE 8 maybe. And somebody's done the wise thing and changed it to JIC via an adapter. But the adapter was wanting to spin in there and whatever. We are, like I said before, we're going to end up changing these hoses, because this hose is horrendous, but it's going to get us by today. Now see, what that let us do is it lets air in, so now I should be able to pull this wherever I want it without it fighting me. And then what you're going to want to do is pull it too much. That's actually a pretty good bushing. There we go. Wow. I can't believe it, friends. That kind of worked. Now I'm going to put this snap ring back on, which we totally we mangled a little bit. Hopefully it'll play ball. That should be good. That should be good. Now we're back to this struggle of life. We'll put this on, and then we'll work. Oh, you know what we should have done first? Never mind. Do over. I love it when stuff like that happens. We're gonna take this back out, and we're gonna try to put that hose on the inside, because it's too hard to get to. Well, maybe we're just gonna struggle. There. All right, now in theory, if we do this right, and we don't touch the rod, like push it in or pull it out, that pin should go in easily. But I gotta have it out like this to be able to get that one way back in the back. You see what I'm saying? And actually, I don't know. I know we're gonna end up hitting it and making a mess, but see, because that's not even any way remotely straight. Oh, geez. I think somebody made a new hose at one time, and they didn't get it just quite routed correctly, because it's kind of a pain there. How are we gonna do this? We're gonna, can we get it started? No, that's not gonna work. Come on. Well, come on. We might have to, I don't know. Actually, this is easier to get to. Hand me that wrench there, why don't you, viewers? So I don't have to crawl back out of here to get it. Because I think I could probably get this done, wedged in here like this. But that's okay. I've been disappointed before. I don't even know what I did with it. There, I see it. Can I reach it? Oh, mama. I don't even know if you can see what's happening, but I am contorted in here, trying desperately to get this. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna call that. Now I gotta get back out, and it is a thrill, friends. I gotta go to the front, otherwise I'll have to crawl through a muddy mess. Now we can go back to this where we were a minute ago, and we could have probably made it work without any to do, but we weren't thinking with our dipstick, Jimmy. Let's get that on there. Or not. Let's clean off this snap ring. It's too covered with stuff. That's the nice way to put it. What's happening? There we go. Get in there. All right. We are there. Now we're back to this, which I wanted to be doing 10 minutes ago. That's fine. All right. Now, where do we want to have this clocked? Is there one way better than the other? Actually, it's not that bad place on the hose is not rubbing like I thought it would, but I bet it only does it when you're articulated the other direction, because that would pull the cylinder out and the hose out a little bit. In other words, as the rod draws in this way, the barrel will tilt out because you're articulating the other direction, and that might be when that hose is rubbing. I don't know. Well, with any luck, all we got to do is clean up our tools and fire it up, and that sucker's gonna run. Not run, it runs, but it's gonna not leak, is what I'm saying. And then that's one step closer to this being, you know, able to be played with in the field. That will be the next step back there, because it may surprise you to know that hydraulic oil ain't cheap in the grand scheme of things. And I'm getting tired of buying $100 at a time buckets of oil to dump in stuff that's just gonna leak immediately out. So we're gonna fix the leaks on this, is what I'm saying. All right. You see, the other day I started another thing I had on. I do a lot of stuff by, it goes so long and then I finally can't stand it anymore. And one was all this crap growing in this fence. So the other day I just hacked away at it and now never got it picked up, and now we've got tractor parked on top of it. So sure, but I'll get it. I need to get the loader and try to pull that out so it doesn't keep coming back. I'll destroy the fence, but I don't care. I'll get new and start over. I mean, that was one of those things that Grandpa and I would argue about, because he liked stuff growed up in the fence and I don't. And then, furthermore, it was kind of like sometimes he would want rid of it and sometimes he wouldn't. One time he yelled at me for, why don't I clean out that fence so he could see better to the road? And then another time he yelled at me and said, why are you cutting that down? I like it. So that was one of those things that I just had to finally look the other way until now. I'm cleaning out a bird's nest. That's what's happening. If you're not, I don't know that the chain was necessary, but it was a good idea just for, you know, you don't think about it when you're working on something, especially this big stuff, but almost everything on this can kill you instantly. So you want some way to get a warning. That way, you know, you have time to maybe escape and live. So that's what I was after. Alrighty. What else do we have to do here? Well, move our thinking stool. We should probably move this pipe wrench. I wasn't sure whether I was going to have it to help the other day, and then turns out I was able to just do it with the whole thing on here, which is handy. All right, turn the battery on, put my hat back on, and then articulate to my heart's delight. I hope that's what's gonna happen. Oh, this is a good example of why you keep the door closed, because you can get the door into the wheel, and that's how a lot of people lose their door. So they put that little strap on to keep it from going all the way back, but that's not enough when you got it articulated like this. Too bad we can't see it from here. We'll have to climb out again. Fire's right up. It's gonna take it a little bit to get oil back in it. Oh, there we go. All right, deadhead it that way. Deadhead it this way. I still need to fix the idle. It idles a little too high for my liking. I think I just need to put a spring on it. That's about what I'd want. If I'd let my hand off of it, then it speeds up again. Good deal. Not a drop of oil. That's what we want. Still got our fuel leak though, huh? Truth be told, what's probably gonna happen is, I bet the front seal on that pump is leaking, so it's probably gonna have to come off and be rebuilt, but I think it's good enough that I can play with it, see? And find out other potential things on this tractor that need attention, because I'm sure there are many. But yeah, we're on the way. See, this is already leaking, so these valves will get rebuilt. It's leaking out there too. I got the kits for that. We'll rebuild that. All new hoses back here, all new couplers, and then it will be easily able to be hooked to something and go. And that's what we want. It's probably low on oil right now, since we've been leaking terribly. I got some in the truck we'll put in, but we're in business, friends. We fixed it. Because when we pulled that sprayer out, it was gushing. It was leaving a trail the whole time, pretty well. And we're dry. You can see the action of the wiper seal, how it's cleaned the rod off to that point. Sweet. Sleep, sleep. They are noisy, I will give them that, but I love these old four-wheel drives, you know. I wouldn't mind having all the sizes. I really want, and I've said that before too, and I'd like to have the exact one, but I don't know exactly where it went. It's in Kentucky somewhere, but growing up, my friend's dad had a Ford 210, and he blew the motor up and he put a turbo 3208 in it, and he actually took the fuel tank out and had the fuel tank notched so that it would fit around the turbo. And he had It had fuel fenders on it. I've got a picture of it when they got it stuck terribly one time. But that was the first one of these I'd ever ridden in, and I've always kind of wanted one. And I just, like I said, it'd be neat to get that exact one. It was pretty rough when I last saw it, so who knows what it looks like now. But at any rate, not something I need, but something I want. I like tractors, and I like these articulated ones. I like them. The white were low to the ground. These are row crop four-wheel drives. I've said that before. You see a lot of those Steigers or whatever, and the Versatiles and things, they sit way up in the air, you know. They were meant for just pure pulling power, where these were also meant where you could, you know, set your wheels and cultivate with them or whatever you wanted to do. They were row crop four-wheel drive tractors. So that's something, you know. It's kind of nice, especially when you're working on it, because everything is about at ground level instead of having to have a ladder and work on it up in the air. But it still needs a lot of work, cosmetically especially. The cab is pretty bad, like we've talked about, but we'll get time one of these days to start sawing metal and fix the issues that it has. And we need to clean up and paint the top with something just to keep it from getting worse. So I might have to investigate that, some kind of silvery paint, to try to get that done, because it's getting pretty bad up top. But yeah, now if I can just convince cousin to sell me those fuel fenders back, I could put a set on this too. He's got a set of fuel fenders I actually gave to Craig in Ohio, and then Craig gave them or sold them to him, and so now they're back over here within a mile of home. But they would go dandy on here. See, he wanted them for his 4180, which is perpetually in pieces. So I don't know, but yeah, we're knocking things off the laundry list. I need to get somewhere. I've got one of those rubber caps that goes on there. I need to dig that out. What else? Well, we need to probably cycle the 3-point up and down a couple times. I don't know that I've ever moved it. It may not move anymore. I don't know. I got a viewer who's got a quick hitch. I need to go get that sometime and do that deal. So I probably need to send them a message right now while I'm thinking about it, and then we can make that happen sometime. But that leak there was the big one. That was what kept us from trying anything, just because it was just getting too much. And it didn't do that on the trip home, to my thinking. It got that way here. The more I played with it, the worse it got. So it was amazing that we made it all the way here without incident. But I don't know. I know that the guy the son, I guess, of who owned this that I bought at the auction, I think he was watching the videos, because he commented once he was glad I got this or whatever. But I don't know. And if he's watching, he can chime in. Did this tractor sit for years and years over there, or did you use it regularly, you know, once a year, even up until the recent years, or has it been sitting? I got the impression that maybe it sat for a long time over there in the shed, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they used it all the time. I don't know. But at any rate, we could ramble all day on stuff. Another big thing that needs to happen very soon, and I might also try to make that happen like now, is we got to get a different alternator and do away with this garbage, because it doesn't charge a lick. And as a matter of fact, it drains voltage away, and the batteries will be dead if you leave the battery cutout on. So we have to sort out the rickety wiring here and try to make it where it charges. And I'm not fooling with this alternator. I will just get a Delco and be done with it, you know. I got to look at the parts book to be sure, but I'm pretty sure that the regulator is this right here. So what I'm saying is, I just want to make sure there's not a remote mounted regulator somewhere else on the machine tucked up under the dash, because that could cause us some potential problems. See, look at that's crusty, rusty off of there. So we got to figure out where that wire goes. Here's a wire that's not doing nothing. Maybe those both go to this and it would charge. I don't know. There are 2 prongs out of the bottom of that. But basically, on any alternator setup, you need a hot all the time, like a wire that goes to your battery. This, like this, would probably go through the gauge. Then you need a wire that's hot all the time, and a wire that comes hot with the key. And then you would have everything you need to make it go. When I put those 1-wire alternators on, let's see, this one, no, this has got the old style. I just jumper from the top, the hot all the time, I jumper from the battery one, and then the other way. And people complain and say, don't do that, it doesn't work. Well, I've done it for years and it seems to be working, so maybe I'm wrong, but that's how she goes. The heater is obviously not hooked up, so we might have to investigate that at some point if we want heat. Not that we really would, but... And on my 4180, I need to reroute the lines anyway, because that one is going down under, and then people are complaining and say, the hose is kinked. Well, that's for the heater, and the heater's not on most of the time. But the originals went over top. So, we'll get it. Just little projects at a time, you know. There's no timeline or budget, you know. We just take our time and spend a little here and there, and then we get us something. This grill isn't quite as good as the one in the other one, is it? It's almost like it's missing a piece. I don't know. We'll take it off and straighten it up a little or something. But she's coming along, friends. And that is good. Any progress is better than no progress. So that's where we're gonna leave this one. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.